Days turned into weeks. Whispers began to spread among the villagers about the strange omen that had visited the land. A sudden stillness in the air, ominous clouds gathering on the horizon, and eerie sounds echoing through the night. Nneka was struck with a deadly illness that left her all swollen up and bedridden. In the heart of a lush African village called Ikenna, nestled between rolling hills and swaying palm trees, there lived a young man called Ikenna. Ikenna was from a neighboring village called Umago. Ikenna was a very handsome young man, full of ambition and very hardworking. He was known throughout the village for his kindness, courage, and unwavering sense of justice. He spent his days helping his neighbors, tending to the crops, and sharing stories with the children under the shade of a big tree. Some of the young men in the village were so jealous of Ikenna because of his high sense of humor and principles, and because he was every lady's dream in the village. There was a young, beautiful lady called Nneka. Nneka had always had a crush on Ikenna, but Ikenna never succumbed to her advances. This got Nneka angry so much that she promised to deal with him. Nneka connived with other young men in the village who had always been jealous of Ikenna. They planned to accuse him of a terrible crime. One quiet evening, Ikenna came back from his farm to see Nneka sitting in front of his house. She dressed seductively and tried all she could to make Ikenna fall for her charms. She was all over Ikenna. Ikenna shouted at her to stop and to leave his house, that he cannot be with a lady with no dignity. Infuriated, Nneka tore her clothes and started shouting, "Rape, rape, rape." Her scream drew the attention of all the villagers, and they all rushed to Ikenna's house. Nneka cried passionately. She told everyone that Ikenna raped her, that she was on her way home when he called her and forced himself on her. Her co-conspirators, who were hanging around the corner, came out from their hidings and started beating Ikenna mercilessly. They dragged him to the king's palace. King Ude, who was swayed by the crowd, ordered for Ikenna to be stoned to death according to the village law against rape case. Ikenna kept crying that he was innocent, but they didn't listen to him. Some of the villagers that knew Ikenna pleaded with the king to pardon him and to investigate well before judgment, to no avail. The young men of Ikenna village dragged him to the village square and stoned him to death. Some of the villagers that genuinely loved Ikenna mourned his loss for several days. As days turned into weeks, whispers began to spread among the villagers about the strange omen that had visited the land. A sudden stillness in the air, ominous clouds gathering on the horizon, and eerie sounds echoing through the night. Nneka was struck with a deadly illness that left her all swollen up and bedridden. All of her co-conspirators were struck with one ailment or another, while some died mysteriously. As fear gripped the heart of the villagers, they turned to their king and elders for guidance. King Ude invited the village chief priest to summon the gods on their behalf. The chief priest, after all incantations, told them of an ancient story, the tale of a righteous soul wrongfully taken, whose death would unleash the wrath of the gods upon the land. They couldn't understand his tale, as they cannot remember who they killed wrongfully. The chief priest told them to be patient, that time will reveal everything. One fateful evening, Nneka shouted in a loud voice. Her voice drew the attention of the villagers as they entered her room filled with foul smell. Nneka confessed on how she falsely accused Ikenna of rape, that Ikenna never raped her, that it was out of jealousy and envy that led her to it. The whole of Umogene's kingdom was in total shock. Nneka died few hours later, and her corpse was taken to the evil forest. Both the king and everyone in the village regretted what they did to poor Ikenna, who had nothing but love for them. Umogene's kingdom continued to face the wrath of the gods as torrential rain flooded the fields, destroying crops and homes, while fierce winds uprooted trees and scattered debris in their wake. The once peaceful Umogene village was engulfed in chaos and despair as the wrath of the gods swept through the land. They realized the grave consequences of their actions. The chief priest kept consulting and appeasing the gods that had been silent all this while. The gods finally answered and told him that the only way Umogene's kingdom can subdue the wrath of the gods was to live by Ikenna's principles. Umogene's village vowed to honor the memory of Ikenna and to live according to his principles of kindness, compassion, and justice. And so, Umogene's village emerged from the darkness stronger and more united than ever before, guided by the spirit of the young man whose untimely death had brought both tragedy and transformation. The moral lesson from this story portrays the detrimental effects of jealousy and envy. We should focus on gratitude, self-improvement, and fostering positive relationships instead of comparing oneself to others and feeling envious of their achievements or possessions. It is essential to appreciate one's own strength and accomplishments. Additionally, learning to celebrate the success of others without feeling threatened can lead to healthier relationships and greater personal fulfillment. And lastly, we should practice critical thinking, addressing biases in promoting fair and just interactions with others. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment, and leave on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our amazing stories. Bye!